Hello, my name is Robert Edgman. You already know this, but it bears repeating. Your fraternity chapter is needed, wanted, and a necessity in the 21st century. If there needs to be a reason to create safe places for people to freely express themselves without fear of prejudice or negative judgment, then there is also a need to create safe places for people to make mistakes done without malice of action, inaction, interaction, communication, and decision. Humans are biologically hardwired to learn by making mistakes, and here in the 21st century, there are no obvious safe places to make that kind of error needed to learn and grow from without being quickly criticized, chastised, and canceled. Fraternities, when run correctly, intentionally, and deliberately, they provide those safe spaces. But like anything else, if run incorrectly or haphazardly, they become inconsequential at best and harmful at worst. Having worked for almost 20 years directly with many fraternity undergraduate and alumni chapters, I've experienced that great feeling, like you have, of a chapter running smoothly and in sync. I've also experienced, like you, the unsettling feeling when a chapter's positive momentum slows down or even comes to a sudden stop due to financial, membership, risk management obstacles that are brought upon by poor recruiting, poor forecasting, a boiler failing, an unforeseen pandemic. Greek life professionals say that these up and down cycles are inevitable with organizations where volunteer alumni provide oversight and college students who leave every 3 or 4 years run the daily operations. We're told that we must accept out of hand this ride of highs and survive the frustrations of the trough. Well, I disagree. You shouldn't accept this fatalistic outlook because over time, the up cycles lose momentum and the down cycles gain momentum, going deeper and deeper until there's no more up. But you can buck this. You can buck this downtrend. Now, you're probably thinking, look, Robert, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been through these cycles before. What's the secret? And please don't tell me the best run chapters are the chapters run best. I promise you I won't. A catchphrase won't stop the up and down cycles that wear out the alumni volunteers and discourage the undergraduate members. And truth be told, there is no secret. You know from your professional life that all organizations go through up and down cycles. You can't eliminate them. But you and your chapter can mitigate the severity of the down cycle to a point where the down cycle becomes a nuisance rather than a crisis. And here are 3 steps to get you started. The first is financial. Like everything else in the 21st century, it starts with money. I worked with a chapter that was $60,000 in debt, with a few thousand in the bank. During monthly house core meetings, alumni would decide who could put that month's chapter mortgage on their credit card. Half the chapter house didn't have heat because there was no money to repair the boiler. Only 2 of the 3 bathrooms worked. A quick chapter-level financial audit showed that 75% of the members were 30 days behind in their dues payments, 50% 90 days behind, 25% 100 days or more. Chapter dues hadn't been raised in 3 years, even though, during that same time, property taxes had gone up an average of 13% a year, insurance 11% a year, utilities 6% a year. Lack of money affected the kind of activities and services the chapter could provide its members, which in turn affected membership, which in turn affected revenue, and you see where this picture's going. Now, I know that your chapter is nowhere near what I just described, but ask yourself, is your chapter running financially as smoothly as it should, as it could, or could it use maybe a tune-up? Number 2, what is the quality of your product? We all see our chapters as many things: our social club, our foundation of friends, our brotherhood, our home away from home. We also need to see our chapter as a product, because for it to continue to grow each year, new members must be convinced to join it. They must see in it a value that is worth investing time, energy, and money into. you want your chapter's values to be seen, then it's time to have what my grandfather used to call a come to Jesus moment. Now, I know it's hard to look at something you love, something you've invested time, energy, emotion, and treasure in with a critical eye. But it's something you must do. And the place to start is, what kind of members are you attracting? Tell me the quality, the culture, and the character of your chapter, and I can tell you the quality, ethics, and character of the pledge class 3 years prior. Tell me the quality, ethics, and character of the pledge class 3 years prior. I can tell you the ethics and the character of the people who recruited them 3 years ago. It all starts with recruitment. Are you recruiting people that believe in your chapter's governing values in a high enough number to impact the chapter as soon as they are initiated members? I once worked with a chapter that had 18 undergraduate members and was at the very bottom of their university, the very bottom of their nationals. They were the very bottom academically and socially. I helped them recruit a pledge class of 32 young men that were from the tops of their high schools, academically, athletically, in student government, club leaders, faith leaders. Soon after the 32 became members, they began to run the chapter. They recruited people like themselves in terms of character, ethics, and value, and within 5 years, chapter membership was above 75, financially stable, top 10 in grades, top 5 fraternities on their campus, and with their nationals. Industry quality control starts with the quality of material used to create the product. You want a quality chapter? You want to flatten out the cycle? Help in determining the quality of the chapter membership. Now, I'm sure we're all in agreement that 1 and 2, financial stability, quality of the chapter and its members, would go a long way to flattening the up and down cycle. But you can't do 1 and 2 without 3. Best practices and procedures that are sustainable, repeatable, accessible. The challenge we all have that work with chapters is that our alumni volunteers are volunteers and volunteers leave. The norm is that best practices are kept in the head of the volunteer or in a desk drawer at their house. When that volunteer leaves, the ways of operating leaves with them. This loss of tribal knowledge creates frustration for current and new volunteers. Much time and energy is wasted reinventing, recreating operation protocols. Often the current volunteers don't even know what to recreate because that part of the chapter's operations was something only the person who left did. In order to flatten the cycle, alumni leaders must take deliberate steps to create sustainable best practices and protocols that are documented, accessible, and preserved. So to summarize, number 1, more than ever, well-run fraternity chapters have a place, fill a need in the 21st century. Number 2, the challenge to a well-run chapter is the up and down operational cycle due to inconsistency. Number 3, operational consistency in an organization where oversight is done by volunteers and day-to-day organizational running is done by college students will only occur if sustainable, repeatable best practices and protocols are in place. I firmly believe in the good that fraternity chapters do for the undergraduate members and for the alumni. I believe that well-run chapters fill a void in the education of young men, enabling them to positively contribute to their communities. The fact that you took the time to watch this video means you believe this as well. If right now you're thinking about your chapter a little differently, have some questions running around your head about how it currently operates, about what changes might be made to make it that much better, then you and I need to talk. Contact me at info@emcgroup.info. My name is Robert Edgman. Be safe and be lucky.